Okay. Hilchos Chanuka. Taf Reish Ayin Gimel. Shmanim upetilot hakshirot laChanuka. So wicks and oil. Okay, so let's read Aleph. Kol hashmanim v'petilot ksherim l'ner Chanuka. All oil and all wicks are kosher for ner Chanuka. Ve'afal pi she'ein hashmanim nimshachim achar petila. Even if the oil is not such a good oil, it doesn't flow or draw through the wicks very well. Ve'ena or nitla yafe be'otam ha'petilot. And the flame is not great with these wicks, with this material, the oil or the wicks. It's still kosher for neros Chanuka. Haga, umihu shemen zayit mitzvah mina muvchar. But many Rishonim they point out that the best way to be Mekayim the mitzvah is with olive oil. Okay, that's mitzvah mina muvchar or mehudar, which words you prefer. And the main reason is why? Because it's doma to the Beis HaMikdash, and that's what the mitzvah was done with. When they found the pach shemen, it was shemen zayit. So, and the menorah is always done with shemen zayit. Okay? And we're not worried about, with the Shabbos, you have to worry about oil and wicks that you can use well and are not difficult. You're afraid you're going to come to turn them and touch them and play with them to make them burn better. But for Chanuka, we're not worried about it, especially since there's an isser to use it. So we're not afraid that it's going to need to be a perfect light so you can read. Now, it's just interesting, there's a Das Yachid, the Maharal, who writes that you're only kosher with shemen zayit, because the whole takana was made to only be done with the lamp and oil. That's how it was in the Beis HaMikdash, and that's how the takana was made. And if you do anything else, you're not makayim the takana. Okay. Just an interesting... No, I don't know when Paskins like the Maharal. That's Yachid. It's in Ner Mitzvah, in the Sefer on Chanuka, Ner Mitzvah. Okay. Now, v'im ein shemen...
So he Paskins against the Gemara.
No. No, the Gemara says shmanim and petilot are all good. He agrees with the Gemara. But he says you can't use wax. The Gemara doesn't talk about wax.
Oh, you have to use oil, not olive oil.
Oh, correct.
Oil.
Sorry. He says it has to be oil. Very good. Thank you for correcting me. It's wax that he's against. It's the wax that Gemara doesn't talk about it.
Oh.
Okay.
It says any oil.
Sorry, yes. Maharal says, Lamaisa, any oil is good. Shemen zayit mitzvah min muvchar, but any oil, you're yotze.
But only oil.
Only oil. Okay. Let's move on. V'im ein shemen zayit matzua. If you can't find olive oil, mitzvah b'shemanim she'orim zach v'naki, then also it's lachatchila to use any oil that has a good, you're allowed to mikar din lachatchila use any oil, right? But if you want to do it better and properly, then you need any oil that works well. Ideally olive oil, but any oil that works well, it's called lechatchila. V'nohagim b'bidinos elu v'hadlik b'ner shel shava. And the Ramah says actually our minhag is not even to use oil. And again, this is also 100% lechatchila. You're allowed to use candles, wax candles. Ki oran selo k'mo shemen. Because at the end of the day, the fire, the flame is great. It's as clear and as great as any oil you're going to buy. So that's what you should use. Even if it comes regarding this halacha of using any oil and wick, this even applies on Shabbos. Shabbos candles has one set of rules for the wicks and oil, and Chanuka has its own set of rules, even though it's on the same night. Mutar lahalik b'ner Chanuka hashmani v'aptilot she'asur lahalik b'hem ner Shabbos. For ner Chanuka, you could use the ones that are asur on Shabbos. Haga, im eino noten b'ner rak kadei shir mitzvato. And I need to read that. 1 second. Im eino noten b'ner rak kadei shir mitzvato. So the Ramah adds something. Again, it's probably not according to the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah adds that the only time you can use any oil and any wick on Friday night is if you only put enough oil in there to last for half an hour, we're going to say past seis. For half an hour past seis. Let's say an hour, whatever the zman is for you. Why? Because after the 30 minutes after seis, this oil is mutter behana. Again, there is an opinion that says it's still not, but the Ikar Halacha L'Maisa says this oil you're allowed to get benefit from. It's only us to get benefit for the first 30 minutes. So now, after 30 minutes, if you're allowed to get benefit from it, we're afraid you're going to come tilt it and play with it, just like by any candle on Shabbos. So that's a chumrah of the Ramah. Mikar din. Lefisha asurli, right, when people say l'chumra l'hakel, it doesn't mean stam chumra you don't have to keep sometimes. Or at least when I say it, it could be a mikar din as well. Lefisha asurli hishtamish b'ner Chanuka bein b'Shabbos bein b'chol. Because, right, we explained, everything we explained until now is because you're not allowed to use the light from a ner Chanuka. So therefore we don't have all these worries of what kind of oil you use. And after the 30 minutes, according to the Ramah, you do have this worry. Okay. Let's go on. And you're not allowed to even use the light of the Ner Chanuka even from a distance to check what kind of coin you have, or to count them, or if it's heads, tails, whatever. So that's asur. Because you're getting benefit from the light. Afilu tashmi shel kedusha, even a kedusha usefulness, usage, is also asur. Kegon lilmod leora, like to read Torah. Asur. That's asur. Okay, that's the first stam main opinion. Okay. Because if using it lowers the kavod. It's a little bit of a bizayon, and lowers the kavod of the mitzvah. So that's why Chazal made it asr. V'yesh mishamat here, but there is an opinion. Again, we don't pass on like this lachatchila, but there is an opinion. V'tash mishel kedusha, you are allowed to benefit. In other words, even the first 30 minutes, as soon as you light a menorah, you're allowed to take a sefer and read right from the candles, even if there was no shamash in the way. Okay. V'noagim lahalik ner nosaf. And the minhag is, we add another, this is the second reason we came up with from the Shulchan Aruch, another reason why you have to have a shamash, or another light in the room, but the minhag is we have a shamash, an extra candle right there, kedei she'im yishtamesh l'ora yeh le'or hanosaf shehu oto shehudlak achron. So you light the last candle is the shamash, and you put it there, and so if you're and so the purpose is, so if you come up close and you by mistake end up using the light, we'll assume you're using the light from that candle. But just move it away a little bit, misha'ar nerot mitzvah, from the other 1 to 8 candles, the neros of the mitzvah, because you want it to be obvious that there's a little bit of a hecker.
But does the hecker mean just in distance or in height?
I think anything is okay as long as it's noticeable. And it's best if the shamash is really, ideally it should be higher and in front of you, or between you and the other candles, so that you're using that light first. But again, it's not necessarily mi'akiv, and usually we have light bulbs in the room, so nowadays it's really easy to avoid this problem. Haga, uve medinos elu, ein ohagim lahosif, rak maniach etzlan hashamesh shabo madli kaneros, v'hu adif tfei, v'ish la'asoto yoter aroch misha'ar neros, she'im ba l'ishtamesh, ishtamesh la'oto ner. So that's what we just said, that the minhag is that we add, not a big difference, but it's kind of like...
What does he mean, ein ohagim lahosif? And he says we do.
It means don't have another nair, just use the one that you're using to light with.
Right. I don't see a major difference between the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah. Okay? It sounds a little bit redundant. You're just pointing out that instead of setting up 9 candles, for example, and lighting the 9th one and then blowing out, the one that you lit it with was the shamash. Now that only works if you have wax candles, right? So anyway, it's really, if we're learning the halacha, no difference, in my opinion. Just a l'maisa minhag difference, very minor. Now, in Misarev ner Chanuka, ha'asor behana b'sha'ar neros afilu echad be'elef labatil. So he writes, the Rama writes, now not everybody agrees, it's a machlokas, even among the Ashkenazi poskim, l'maisa on this one. Let's say you have a candle that was used for Chanuka, and it's within, let's say, the first 30 minutes, for sure, and it gets mixed in with the other candles. So can you get benefit from all the candles or not? It's all mixed in. So he writes, it's not batal. Normally we say, yavish b'yavish, 2-1 is batal. Here he writes, the havi davar shel minyan. Each candle, we're counting out the candles for the day of the week, so it's like a real davar shel minyan. So it's a question if that applies to this issue over here. But because it's real chashuv, whatever, but the Mishnah Berurah points out, even according to the Rama, once the 8 days of Chanuka are over, then there's no importance to the numbers anymore. Wait till next year. And it is batel, even according to the Rama. That's what he writes.
You use it for a Shabbos candle?
You can use it for a Shabbos candle only after Chanuka. According to the Rama, I'm saying. If you disagree with the Rama, then it's not a problem. If it's batel barov.
You're saying that the Isser of Muktzah of the Ner Chanuka, it expires at the end of Chanuka?
The Mishnah Berurah said it, and I didn't look into it. So I'm somach on the Mishnah Berurah. It also expires after the 30 minutes. That everyone agrees. Almost, not everybody, but most.
What's left, not what was.
Right. Yeah, but it's all the bowl of oil is mixed together.
Right, but conceptually it still fits into the same box.
Because the oil is all mixed in together. Anyway, we can discuss the Mishnah Berurah later. Bet. Hadlaka.
That
Yeah.
halacha would only be to pull one out from the mixture of 1,000 and be mishtamish to that one. But if you were to pull out two, you'd be covered. Because there's only one shel isser, and the other one would be the one that you'd be mishtamish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's correct also.
Yeah, just like
To get benefit from only one is a problem. But if you're going to take benefit from two and only one of them is aser, then that's like using a shamash. Yeah. Okay. Right. Wait, did we finish this? Ela yadlik mina ta'arov. We'll keep reading the Rama. Ela yadlik mina ta'arovot. Kol kach shabavadai ner shel heter dolek im ner shel iser. Like you said, if you're only gonna only one got mixed in, that's aser, and you pull out that one and want to use that for personal reasons, for uses, so then that's a problem, right? According to the Rama, it's because it's afilu be'elef lo batil. But if you take out only one of them was aser, and you take out two, you just said that. So then you can light both, and you can derive benefit. One second, va'az mutar lishtamesh etzlan, and then you're allowed to get benefit from it, and. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The Mishnah Berurah doesn't say what we said before. The Mishnah says if the tarovis occurred on the 8th day or after Chanuka, then there's no chashivus to it, and then you do not invoke afilu ve'elef lo batel. Earlier,
I think he says that also.
Say that it expired.
I think so. I think he does. Yeah, I know. Kol shekain on this 8th day. Okay. I understand. And it makes no difference if nisarev on the 7th day or the 8th day.
Sure, the idea is
no, because when it's mitarev, it's aser, and afilu be'elef lo batil.
You say because it's because of hashivah.
Here, we'll discuss it afterwards. Bet hadlaka ose mitzvah. The ikr mitzvah of lighting is. The ikr mitzvah of lighting the candles is when you light. Okay, that's it. Right? I'm sure you're all very familiar, extremely basic principle. Hadlaka ose mitzvah. Lefichach. So what comes out of it? In kavta kodem she'avar zmana. If it blew out, extinguished, after you lit it 100% okay. It was in the right place. It was enough for 30 minutes after taste. Everything was done correctly. And now it blew out. So then, Eino Zakukla. You were Yotze 100%, and you do not have to relight it. Even if it happens when you light it after plug, before Shkia. When you lit it, you had enough oil to last until 30 minutes after it stays. So then, Einu Zakukla. You're not responsible, you did your mitzvah, you said the brachos, your yotzei 100%, and you're good to go. You don't have to relight it. Now, let's say you lit it properly, and then you come to fix it. You want to make it a little better. You want to adjust it, do something to the candle. And then by mistake, instead of making it better, you made it worse. You put it out. Eino zakukla. You also don't have to relight it. You were yotzei already. Haga. And if you want to be machmer on yourself, which is what's the general, I'm sure most of us want to do, and most poskim will suggest for you to do, is just relight it. What's the big deal? You get more persume nisa if you relight it. So if you're going to relight it, right, ein levarech aleha, you don't make a new bracha. And that's generally what most poskim would say. Even Erev Shabbos, you relight it, but you don't relight it with a bracha. Okay.
By the way, the Beis Halevi in Al Torah holds that if there's chashad, then you have to relight it.
If there's chashad, okay. If there's an issue of chashad, so it depends. Okay, very well point. It could be that you have to relight it, but in general, there is a bit of a machlokas, but in general, we all agree, if you're lighting only for the purpose of chashad, there's never a bracha. Right? You lit it one side of the chatzar, and you want to light it on the other. Whatever the case is, for chashad, we don't say brachas. Almost all opinions agree to that. Gimel. Now, if you have a piece of pottery that you used for an oil lamp, and it's like, I don't know the right word, raw earthenware, it's not glazed, not covered, right? So then when you use it the first time with oil, it gets a little bit
sealed. The terminology would be
it's unsealed?
It's unsealed.
Unsealed. Okay? So then it gets a little bit disgusting, and it's a little bit of a bizoi mitzvah to use it again. So it's good when it's brand new the first night. But then, after the first night, naaseh yashan, it becomes old. Ve'ein madlikin bo laila acheres. And you cannot reuse it for the second night. Ela lokeya chadashim b'kol laila. So if that's the type of lamp you're using, get a new one every single night. Ve'ein lo ela yashan, but you only have one. Masiko b'kol laila be'ur. So just stick it in the oven, I don't know exactly for how long, and then when you reburn it, it makes it nicer again. And then it's not unpleasant or not a bizoi to the mitzvah. V'ner shel matechet ein tzarich chadash. But if you're going to use metal, silver, whatever you use, then it's not a problem. It doesn't get the same kind of, it's not porous, it doesn't get disgusting. V'shel zechuchit, or shel cheres mechuseh, or if you're using glass or any kind of covered, could be any kind of a metal covering or a glaze, then it's fine. Dino kamatechet, it has the same din of metal, and you don't have to do any. You can just keep reusing the same menorah that you have from one night to the next. Dalid, ein chosheshim leptil lachlifam ad shetichle. Can you reuse the wicks from one night to the next? So the Shulchan Aruch writes that you can certainly use it from one night to the next. That is the halacha, and you can keep on using it until it's like it burns too far down where it's not useful anymore. And in general, poskim always say that some even recommend it, like for Erev Shabbos, to first light the wick a little bit, and then that'll help it for it'll be better and easier to light for Shalom Bayis. So often that's what's said. Although I don't know your experiences, but I often feel the brand new ones are light the best. No, you like using the used ones? Okay, I have bad luck with used ones. So whatever works best for you, that's what you should use. What? Depends what they're made out of.
Sometimes they have wax on the actual sill, and it therefore takes a while for it to burn in, which is dafka why. That's out of safety. That's dafka why you should prepare them for Shabbos, because otherwise it's hard
takes a
for
while.
your wife to light.
That's good. Okay. All right. We'll do a little more. Taf Reish Ayin Dalid. Okay, Madlikin Ner Chanuka min Ner Chanuka. You're allowed to light candles from one candle to the next. Let's say it's there's 2 nights. So you can light the first candle, and then, this works best obviously with candles versus oil, but you can take that first candle and use the candle itself. Not a match, not a shamash. I mean, you're allowed to. But you're also allowed to use that first candle and now light that to the second candle. That's it. The Shulchan Aruch paskins. That's only if you're using, because they're both, in essence, l'tzarech, the same mitzvah of Ner Chanuka. We'll see later about other mitzvahs. So he says over here, you're allowed to take it straight from one to another. Because since they're both for the mitzvah, there's no bizayon, you're not using it for something else. It's the mitzvah is for the mitzvah, and it's no insult to the mitzvah. No lack of kavod. But to take that first candle and use that to relight your shamash or a match or whatever, and then use the shamash or the match to light that next candle, that's aser. Because your middle apparatus, your middle match or your middle candle, that is chol. It's not a davar sheba mitzvah. And that's an insult, a lack of kavod to the ner mitzvah. So that you're not allowed to do.
What about if it's the other way, that you've got a shamash, but because the way your shamash is, you can't easily take the shamash to light the others, so you use a candle from the light of the shamash to light the others.
For sure that's okay.
That's okay. That's not a davar chol, right?
You're supposed to use a davar chol to light the ner Chanuka, and you're allowed to use 100 lechatchila. You're allowed to use a ner mitzvah also to light another ner mitzvah, but you can't have an emtzai in the middle. That's the first opinion, the main opinion. V'yesh matirin gam bazeh, but he says no. Some do allow you to light with a middleman, with a middle. You're allowed to take a shamash. Let's say the shamash blows out in the middle. That happens sometimes. You're allowed to take the shamash and relight the shamash with the first candle, and then keep lighting the other ones. So the first opinion, the ikra opinion, la halacha, is you're not allowed to use. But he points out there is an opinion. And ela in kenu be'inyan sheish lachush yechabeh ner shel chol kodem shadlik ner acher shel Chanuka. But just realize, according to this yesh matirin opinion of relighting the shamash from the first candle, you can only do that if you're pretty confident the shamash is not going to blow out in the middle, before you light the other candle. Because what happens is, because otherwise you ended up using a ner chol, the shamash. You used the ner mitzvah, and it wasn't even, and you're just benefiting to the chol from the mitzvah without accomplishing another mitzvah with that same candle. Hope that was understood. Haga. One second. Okay, let's keep going. Haga. The Ramah writes, the minhag is that no, we don't even light one candle to another. You can't take the first night's candle and use that first night's candle to light the second night's candle. Shulchan Aruch allowed that. Ramah says no, we don't do that. The ikar mitzvah so enel ner echad, because the main mitzvah is the first one, so it has a much higher status than the second one. V'hashar enel mitzvah kolkach, and the other 7 candles are not such a mitzvah, whatever that means. V'lachein has a lower status. V'lachein ein lahadlik zeh min zeh. So you can't light, I don't know, certainly from the first one to the other ones, but it sounds like he's saying all of them. V'kol zeh eno rak be'od shedokim lemitzvatan, and this whole issue is of course only during the first 30 minutes. But once those 30 minutes are over, mutarim behana. The Ramah says they are 100% mutar behana. Right? We mentioned there is an opinion that's machmer, but that this is the ikar halacha. Kol shekein shemutar lahadlik mehen, and so certainly you're allowed to actually get direct benefit from all those other candles afterwards. Want to stop? Are we finish? Stop? We're done.
This better.